Dear finance professionals and students, welcome to podcast of FCA Deepak Rao, a practicing chartered accountant. Weekly digest for week 3 of January 2025. Apple has reached over rupees 1 lakh crore in iPhone exports from India in 2024. Exports hit a record $12.8 billion, up 42% from the previous year. Local value addition increased to 15 to 20% and domestic production surged nearly 46%. Apple secured $9 billion in exports in 2023, benefiting from the PLI scheme for smartphones. Electric two-wheeler manufacturer Ather Energy is set to value itself at as much as $2.4 billion in its upcoming initial public offering. That's a premium of more than 80% over the last funding round in August, when it turned unicorn. Ather is expected to file its updated draft red herring prospectus later this month or the first week of February after sending final clarifications to the Securities and Exchange Board of India. In contrast to the series of new age businesses listings last year that took a cautious approach to valuation, the likes of Ather and Bluestone are likely to price their offerings at a premium, reflecting their own plans as well as the competitive landscape. SEBI has issued guidelines for research analysts and investment advisors. The guidelines cover qualification and certification requirements, fees chargeable to clients, and deposit requirements. Under the guidelines, research analysts and investment advisors must maintain a deposit based on their client base, ranging from rupees 1 lakh for up to 150 clients to rupees 10 lakh for over 1,000 clients. Also, SEBI mandates research analysts and investment advisors to disclose use of AI tools in providing investment advice and research services to clients. The NFRA has called on audit committees to ask auditors tough questions about credit risks and related party transactions. These questions are aimed at ensuring transparency and trust in financial statements. This is the first time that NFRA has released a set of questions for the audit committee to ask the auditors to ensure credible and meaningful interactions. More such questions will be issued by the regulator in the coming weeks, covering various critical aspects of audits. The microfinance sector in India has seen a decline from rupees 4.43 lakh crore in March 2024 to rupees 3.93 lakh crore by November due to slowing loan dispersals and rising asset quality stress. Collection efficiency has dropped, affecting the sector's performance. Recovery is expected in the second half of financial year 26, with lenders implementing strategies to prevent further decline. India will continue to outpace other major steel-consuming economies in calendar year 2025 with a demand growth of 8 to 9%, CRISIL's Market Intelligence and Analytics report said. This demand will be driven by a shift towards steel-intensive construction in the housing and infrastructure sectors, along with better demand from engineering, packaging, and other segments. The report added that the imposition of a safeguard duty proposed by the industry could be a positive, and if implemented, steel prices in 2025 would be much higher than 2024, with the impact more prominent in the first half. Fresh sanctions slapped by the US government on Russian oil will start impacting Indian imports on the commodity after the wind-down period expires in 2 months. Price discounts on Russian oil may cease. Indian refiners are seeking alternative supplies to mitigate potential disruptions, while the market anticipates changes depending on global reactions. Farm loan waiver dues from state governments are hindering banks from providing more credit to priority sectors like agriculture. This issue arises due to fiscal irresponsibility and delayed reimbursements, straining bank operations. The Telangana government owes Rs 20,865 crore for loan waivers, causing liquidity issues and a rise in non-performing assets. This affects long-term financial stability of banks. India's electronics, solar and electric vehicle sectors are struggling to obtain essential high-tech machinery due to China's recent halt in exports. This move aims to impede manufacturing growth in India for firms like Foxconn and BYD, causing potential setbacks and increased costs. The Indian government is considering measures to mitigate these impacts. The Institute of Chartered Accountants of India has officially announced the schedule for the May 2025 Chartered Accountants examinations. The exams, which include the Foundation, Intermediate, Final and International Taxation Assessment Test, will be conducted across various centers in India and overseas. Candidates must apply online via the self-service portal on the ICAI website. The application window will be open from 1st March 2025 to 14th March 2025 without late fees. Applications with a late fee of Rs 600 can be submitted until 17th March 2025. The GSTN has issued an advisory to inform that now Phase 3 regarding Table 12 of Form GSTR 1 and Form GSTR 1A is being implemented from return period January 2025. In this phase, manual entry of HSN has been replaced by choosing correct HSN from given drop-down, and the corresponding description will auto-populate in the description as per HSN code field from the HSN master. Additionally, these new validations will cross-check the reported values for B2B and B2C supplies with corresponding data in other tables of Form GSTR 1. In case of amendments, only the differential values will be validated. These validations will initially be in warning mode, enabling taxpayers to file returns despite any discrepancies. In case B2B supplies are reported in other tables of GSTR 1, B2B table of Table 12 cannot be left blank. The club of billionaire promoters in India expanded to a record high of 201 members at the end of 2024, up sharply from 157 at the close of the equivalent period the previous year and 126 when 2022 ended. Their combined wealth went past $1 trillion for the first time and reached an all-time high of $1,023.9 billion at the end of December. PepsiCo has recently entered negotiations for a minority stake in Haldiram snack food, competing with contenders Temasek and Alpha Wave Global. The Agarwal family, seeking their first external investment, expects a valuation of Rs 85,000 to Rs 90,000 crore. PepsiCo aims to leverage Haldiram's market strength in ethnic snacks. The Indian rupee reached an all-time low at 86.63 against the US dollar due to a stronger dollar and various global factors. Despite RBI interventions, analysts predict a continued fall, possibly past 90 per dollar, driven by US economic policies, higher oil prices, and capital outflows. Sectors like IT and textiles may benefit, while import-dependent industries will face challenges. Goods and Services Tax registered taxpayers who wish to apply for GST Amnesty Scheme 2024 under Section 128A announced in Budget 2024 should note about a procedural change in filing its application. Without submitting a request for withdrawal of appeal, the taxpayer cannot apply for the GST Amnesty Scheme under Section 128A. The change is applicable to certain taxpayers specified by GSTN, and to be eligible for the amnesty scheme application, they must first apply to the concerned appellate authority to withdraw their existing appeal, and then they can apply for the amnesty scheme under Section 128A. For these specified taxpayers, the withdrawal of appeal option is not available on the GST portal. IRDA has notified amendment in IRDAI Reinsurance Advisory Committee Regulations 2019 to address resignation, removal, and casual vacancies. Regulation 5 now allows the authority to remove members for reasons such as insolvency, physically or mentally incapable of acting as a member, convicted of any offense involving moral turpitude, conflict of interest, abuse of position, not fit to remain as a member, or non-attendance without cause. After considering representations from liquidators and insolvency professional agencies citing technical difficulties in submission of forms, the IBBI has extended the deadline for filing liquidation and voluntary liquidation forms till 31st March 2025, previously set at 31st December 2024. Further, insolvency professionals must ensure the information submitted in the forms is accurate, truthful, and consistent with the supporting documents attached. IRDAI has notified the IRDAI Regulatory Sandbox Regulations 2025. The objective is to promote innovation in the insurance sector and facilitate the creation of regulatory sandbox environment. A regulatory sandbox means an environment used in the financial services sector that provides testing ground for new business models, processes and applications that may not necessarily be covered fully or are not fully compliant with existing regulations. Heidelberg Research, the US investment research firm, renowned for its short-selling activities, has been officially disbanded, its founder Nate Anderson announced on January 15th. This firm gained attention in India in recent times for its reports that significantly impacted billionaire Gautam Adani and his business interests, resulting in billions of dollars in losses. Despite the gravity of the allegations made by Heidelberg, Adani and his companies have consistently denied all charges against them. Anderson did not specify a singular reason for the closure of Heidelberg Research, which comes at a politically sensitive time just before the end of President Biden's term and the upcoming inauguration of Donald Trump. Mahakumbh Mela in Prayagraj is generating about 1 million gig and temporary jobs over its 45-day duration. Roles range from construction and hospitality to digital security and drone operators. The event marks significant employment growth, including new age jobs with a notable participation of women. Hospitality startup Oyo's early investors, such as Lightspeed Venture Partners, are in talks with family offices to divest a portion of their stake at a valuation of around $3.9 billion. This stake sale is at a premium of more than 60% to the Rs 1,457 crore funding round in August 2024, when top family offices invested in the now profitable hospitality startup. RBI prioritized liquidity infusion into the banking system with daily variable rate repo or VRR operations starting Thursday for Rs 50,000 crore amidst a significant liquidity deficit. Such moves aim to align call rates with the current repo rate while addressing the banking system's core liquidity shortfall. Reliance will introduce Campa Cola in the Middle East, starting with Bahrain and expanding to countries like Oman and Saudi Arabia. This strategy aims to compete with Coca-Cola and PepsiCo, who are currently hit by a boycott of American products. Reliance also plans to explore local partnerships for bottling Campa in the region. The CBIC has issued notification for extension of time limit for furnishing the return in Form GSTR 3B for the taxpayers filing return monthly till 22nd January. The time limit of return filing of GSTR 3B under QRMP scheme for the quarter of October 2024 to December 2024 is also extended by 2 days. With short-term rates firming up due to tight liquidity conditions, Indian corporates are opting to borrow long-term to take advantage of the attractive rates by locking them in these uncertain times. The banking system has a liquidity deficit of over Rs 2 trillion. Market participants indicated that the spread on shorter tenure corporate bonds, typically 3 years, over government bonds of equivalent maturity is in the range of 50 to 60 basis points. In contrast, for 10-year corporate bonds, the spread over 10-year government securities typically falls between 25 basis points and 30 basis points. The Rs 10 packet of Parle G may soon disappear from your quick commerce app. So will some other regular packs of consumer goods firms, which are reworking their channel strategies to protect neighborhood stores, while also aligning them with changing shopping habits. Consumer good firms like Parle Products, HUL, and ITC are creating exclusive product packs for quick commerce platforms to protect Kirana stores and cater to changing shopping habits. These packs are priced higher and tailored for online consumers, reducing conflict with traditional retail channels. Quick commerce's sales contribution has surged, prompting scrutiny from distributors and consumer goods firms. High street banks are considering approaching Supreme Court following a ruling that bars lending against properties without completion and occupancy certificates. This decision raises practical issues for older and heritage properties and states where such certificates are not issued. Banks are seeking further clarification. RBI now allows banks to open rupee accounts at overseas branches for non-residents to facilitate rupee internationalization. These accounts, including SRVAs, require prior RBI approval. This initiative aims to reduce reliance on freely convertible currencies and promotes cross-border transactions using local currencies, enhancing trade and investment opportunities for Indian exporters and foreign investors. The Institute of Chartered Accountants of India is all set to host World Forum of Accountants or WOFA 2025 from January 31st to February 2nd, 2025 at the Yashobhoomi India International Convention and Exhibition Centre in New Delhi. The theme of the event, Accountability Meets Innovation for a Sustainable Planet, aligns with the visionary goals of the Honourable Prime Minister, emphasizing on development, economic growth, social progress, environmental sustainability, and good governance. WOFA 2025 event will host over 8,000 national and international delegates from the international accounting organizations, firms, regulators, economists, commerce groups, business leaders, policymakers, standard setters, and esteemed global leaders from accountancy profession. The global economy is growing steadily in the face of war, protectionist trade policies, and high interest rates. It just isn't growing fast enough to bring relief to the world's poorest, the World Bank said on Thursday in its latest assessment of the global economy. The World Bank expects the world economy to expand 2.7% in 2025 and again in 2026. It's a remarkably consistent performance matching 2023 and 2024, but also a lackluster one. Growth is running 0.4 percentage points below the 2010 to 2019 average. The slump reflects lingering damage from the adverse shocks of recent years, including COVID-19 and Russia's invasion of Ukraine. E-commerce giant Amazon is set to acquire Indian startup Axio, an online lending platform offering point-of-sale financing. Amazon first invested in Axio during its Series C funding round 6 years ago and currently holds an 8% stake in the company. While financial details of the deal remain undisclosed, Axio, formerly known as Capital Float, has raised $232 million across 12 funding rounds and is valued at approximately $200 million. Key investors include Peak 15, Ribbit Capital, Lightrock, Elevation Capital, and others. The government is considering a proposal to waive 50% of interest and 100% of penalties and interest on penalties that make up a bulk of the adjusted gross revenue dues that were levied on telcos like Vodafone Idea and Bharti Airtel after the Supreme Court order of 2019. Such a move, if implemented, would mark a watershed for the telecom business in India and will go a long way towards ensuring that the market doesn't end up as a private sector duopoly. The move, if finalized, will offer financial relief of over rupees 1 lakh crore for telecom companies, more than half of which will accrue to distressed Vodafone Idea. The telecom company is starting at a repayment of thousands of crores of adjusted gross revenue dues to the government starting financial year 26, raising questions about its viability. The GSTN has issued an update to inform that both forms GST SPL 01 and GST SPL 02 are available in the GST portal, and the taxpayers are advised to file applications under waiver scheme. However, for the appeal applications filed before 21st March 2023, withdrawal option is not available in GST portal. For such cases, the taxpayers are advised to submit their request for withdrawal of appeal applications to the concerned appellate authority. Notably, to meet the eligibility conditions, taxpayers must withdraw appeal applications related to the relevant demand. The Income Tax Department has released an updated version of the Excel-based utility and JSON schema for ITR Forms 1 to 7. The central government has issued notification under the Central Goods and Services Tax Act 2017, Goods and Services Tax Compensation to States Act 2017, and the Integrated Goods and Services Tax Act 2017. The notification exempts intrastate and interstate supply of taxable goods meant for export from the compensation cess above 0.1% subject to specific conditions. This measure, effective immediately, aims to streamline export operations and incentivize registered suppliers and recipients involved in international trade. This notification reflects the government's commitment to supporting exporters by minimizing tax burdens and enhancing compliance clarity. By leveraging this exemption, businesses can achieve greater operational efficiency and cost savings in export related activities. The Union Cabinet has approved a Rs 11,440 crore revival plan for debt-laden Rashtriya Ispat Nigam Limited. The revival package would allow the company to gradually reach its full production capacity. The revival plan envisages that the company will start full production with 2 blast furnaces in January 2025 and with 3 blast furnaces by August 2025. Under the Ministry of Steel, the company operates the Visakhapatnam Steel Plant, the only offshore steel plant in Andhra Pradesh.
This podcast is sponsored by Sound of CA. We share because we care. Vande Mataram, Jai Hind.